Hook. In 1987, 200 people vanished from a Romanian village. The only thing left behind was a lullaby. Hook end. I never thought I'd return to our deal, but when my grandmother died, she left me her house, the only one still standing in a village that had been empty for 30 years. The authorities called it a mass disappearance. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just empty homes, meals left on tables, and a strange silence that settled over the valley like a held breath. I was 8 when it happened. I remember my mother crying, the police interviews, the headlines. But what I remember most is the lullaby. My grandmother used to sing it to me when I was small. A soft, lilting tune about the hungry earth that sleeps beneath the hills. She'd rock me and whisper the words, feed the earth, so it may wake and call us home." I never understood what it meant. I thought it was just a folk song. Pattern interrupt. The house was exactly as I remembered. Dust motes floated in the slanted light. The air smelled of dried lavender and something else, something metallic, like old pennies. I found the diary on her nightstand, bound in cracked leather, the pages yellowed and brittle. The first entry was dated March 12th, 1987. 3 days before the village disappeared. Cliffhanger. The diary spoke of a ritual, a great feeding that would open a door to the land beneath. My grandmother wrote about the village as if it were a single organism, a grid of souls planted like seeds. She called herself the sower. She wrote that the hungry earth had been waiting for centuries and that the time had come to answer its call. I felt the floor tilt. This wasn't a tragedy. It was a plan. Pattern interrupt. I walked through the village the next morning. The houses were hollow shells, their windows like empty eye sockets. At the edge of the forest, I found the old cemetery. The graves were open. Every single one. But they weren't dug up from the outside. The dirt was pushed outward as if something had crawled out, or as if the earth had opened from below. In the centre of the graveyard, there was a single skeleton. It lay curled on its side, one bony hand clutching a scrap of paper. The note was written in my grandmother's handwriting. 4 words. "We go willingly. Cliffhanger." I ran back to the house and tore through the diary. The final entry was dated March 15th, 1987, the night of the disappearance. My grandmother described the ritual in chilling detail. The villagers gathered in the square at midnight. They sang the lullaby together, their voices rising in a single, mournful chord. And then, the ground split open. Not a crack, but a wound. A light spilled out, cold and silver. And one by one, they walked into it. My grandmother wrote that she stayed behind to close the door. She was the anchor, the sacrifice that would seal the rift. But the diary didn't end there. There was one more line, scrawled in a shaky hand, dated the day before her death, 30 years later. "The door is not closed, it is only waiting." Pattern. Interrupt. That night I woke to a sound, a soft humming. I followed it to my daughter's room. She was sitting up in bed, her eyes half closed, her lips moving. She was humming the lullaby, the same tune, the same words. "Feed the earth, so it may wake and call us home." I shook her gently, but she didn't stop. Her eyes opened fully, and they weren't her eyes. They were silver, cold and bright, like the light my grandmother described. Cliffhanger. The ground beneath the house began to tremble, a low vibration like a heartbeat. I pulled my daughter into my arms and ran outside. The village square was bathed in that same silver light. The rift had reopened, and from deep within it I heard a voice, my grandmother's voice. "Come home," it said. "The earth is still hungry." My daughter stopped humming. She looked at me, and for a moment she was herself again. Then she smiled, a smile that wasn't hers, and whispered, "We go willingly." She pulled free of my arms and walked toward the light. I screamed, I ran, but the light swallowed her. And then it was gone. The square was empty. The houses were silent. The only thing left was the lullaby, drifting on the wind, waiting for the next feeding.